Why we hate Virginia Tech.
One second. How'd you get your big old head in that helmet?
Barely.
All right, no. Continue. Why we hate Virginia Tech. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why we hate Virginia Tech. What is it? Why do you hate Virginia Tech? Well, listen to us and see if you agree. That's not all we're going to do today. We're also going to talk about...
What would you rather? Excuse me, not what would you rather, but which speech did you like better? Bill Stewart's speech before the Fiesta Bowl or Owen Schmitt's speech after the Fiesta Bowl?
Good question. The other question we have for you is, would you rather West Virginia lose in a blowout from start to finish, you know it's over, or would you rather it be a last-second
win,
heart-ripping loss? You get to choose, but you can hear what we have to say in the meantime. And then we're going to get to the main topic, why we hate Virginia Tech. There is no East Virginia, and all the other things that bring you to the Raspy Voice Kids podcast. This is the new format. We hope you love it. We love doing it. We ask you as Raspy Voice Kids to participate in our show. It's one of our favorite things about the show. If you're on Twitter, you see that we interact with our listeners. On Instagram, it's the same thing. Facebook as well. One of the things we haven't done, but we're going to do tonight, is to make sure that you know what happened in our polls. So one of the first polls we asked you, the question was, which do you hate more, Marshall, Pitt, or man rompers? Marshall received 13% of the vote. Man rompers won 29% of the vote. And Pitt, with the lowercase p, won in a landslide at 58%. So we're glad you agree with the Raspy Voice Kids. The evil cesspool to the north is the most hated of all of our enemies. One poll that we did that we never really told you about, you could see it on Twitter, even on Instagram, but in case you don't do either of those and you just listen to our show, we want to tell you that when we asked the question, who is the most likely to wear a man romper or romp him, depending on how you want to answer that question or state that style of dress, the question merited 11% of the vote for Virginia Tech, 35% of the vote for Marshall fans, and coming in at a whopping 54%, Pitt, lowercase P-I-T-T fans were the most likely to wear male rompers. And we agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for voting.
And pick their nose.
We did a poll on the best Pop-Tart. It was brown sugar, strawberry.
Oh, did we?
Brown sugar, strawberry, or other.
Cool.
And the winner, because of a major error and glitch, was brown sugar. That is an incorrect choice.
Now, here's the thing. I feel like you need to sing it for us.
Brown sugar, bang. Brown sugar won. All right. I was right, but, y'all are wrong. But still, that's what y'all picked. Let the people speak. What's done is done. That's it.
And now, dinner with the Raspy Voice Kids.
Game time.
There are 3 Raspy Voice Kids. Thus far, you've heard 2 Raspy Voice Kids. It started out with me, the first Raspy Voice Kid. But tonight, we got M to the is. That is homeboy Mike Phoenix, bachelor number 2 of the Phoenix Boys and the Raspy Voice Kids. He is in the building.
As a succession born, don't be trying to, okay, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying number 2, it's in the birth.
In the birth order.
That's right, that's all I'm saying.
Because we already know.
We already know, but he's already in the building. And we bring him in as a special guest tonight to talk about one Stevie Wonder. M. Tudor, you in the building?
You already know. M. Tudor on the hotline. Yo, what's up? Raspy Voice Kids Nation, Mountaineer Nation. I'm going to say what's up to my brothers. First and foremost, before we even get into it, I don't know what my other siblings do it or how they do it, but I got to give a shout out to my parents first and foremost. My mother and father. I just come from real son. I mean, I got to, that's first things first.
Right.
So let's get that understood first.
Right.
Suck up.
I don't know. Hold up. No.
Yo, man, I'm compelled.
Nah.
I got to do it. I'm just compelled. My beloved parents, man, I got to give a shout out.
Yeah, listen. You got to get your goodwill wherever you can. I done built mine over the years, so go ahead.
No. M to the has a point. Told y'all before. Showed y'all before.
That's right.
Nah, you got a point. You got a point.
All right. So so here's the thing. Like, so M to the, we've been waiting for him to get here on the mic with us. There's no question about what he brings to the table.
You don't even know.
But tonight is a special night because we want to talk about one, Mr. Stephen
Hardaway.
Stephen Hardaway Morris.
Yeah, Stephen.
Born on May the 13th, 1950.
Is that his real name, Stephen Hardaway Morris?
That's his
real.
name.
That's his real name.
And the thing is, because he was born premature, because they did not understand the dangers of an oxygen-rich environment, he was purported to have retinopathy of prematurity.
Yeah.
But not everybody believes that it really rendered him blind, like we've been led to believe all these years. And so we want to talk about whether or not this is true. Now, the first time I became aware of this whole concept that Stevie Wonder may not actually be blind was on Deadspin at deadspin.com. They did a very in-depth analysis. Bomani Jones, Boy George, they both gave their ideas, their opinions, and made it clear that it's possible that he's not blind. And Bomani, in fact, went beyond it's possible. So I want to ask, so let's start with Jeremy. Do you believe that Stevie Wonder is blind?
Listen here, I'm gonna save mine to the end. I can't wait till M till he gets on this. I can't wait till you get on this. I'm gonna save mine to the end. So I'm gonna just default. Like I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass the peas like they used to say.
I'm gonna tell you straight out, like my gut is to say that Stevie Wonder. I mean, it's a big deal to say he's not blind because then you're saying that everybody who is aware he's not blind is complicit in decades-long lying. But M to the is. Mike Phoenix, what do you believe? Do you believe Stevie Wonder is blind?
Well, first I want to say, my older brother, Kid B Smooth, Brandon, you the one that put me up on this whole Stevie Wonder, is he blind or is he not? And after I took a hold of it, started doing my research, and my blood started to boil. I mean, now come on. All right, so I think of it this way, okay. There's levels of blindness, yeah, no doubt. Now for him to, he makes claims, or it's been said he's completely blind and utterly blind, and there's just too much evidence out there for me or anyone in my opinion to just ignore. I mean, it's just too much. It's just too much.
Talk about?
Like, what do you mean? You mean there's no question he is blind? You believe he really is blind?
No, he might be. He is hard of seeing. Some people are hard of hearing. He's hard of seeing. But that homeboy is not blind. I mean, there's too many. I mean, now I can't.
He said hard of seeing.
I say it makes my blood boil. Now I put it in the same category. I'm sorry. I know it's not in the same category as Mr. O.J. Simpson or as Bill Cosby's due to the nature of their accusations. But
whoa.
But
are you trying to say Bill Cosby and O.J. is lying?
Oh, come on now. Now that's the topic for another discussion. But
yes,
the discussion right now is that Stevie Wonder is definitely not being truthful.
But no. I have a question. No. We're not gonna go into it right now. But what do you feel more strongly about? Stevie Wonder not being blind, or Bill Cosby and his allegations?
No. Bill Cosby just recently overtook O.J. Simpson as my number one person I'm out to get in hopes it's totally revealed. I mean, it's coming for him. Stevie Wonder's gonna take a little bit, so I mean, he's there's no way it's up on that caliber.
So here's my question:
I do feel strongly. He's coming in at third.
Have you ever seen what Boy George had to say about Bill Cosby?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I told you I did extensive research on the matter. You're talking about when they were at a function or a party or something when Stevie Wonder, Boy George said Stevie Wonder saw him, sifted his way through a crowd of people, stopped, let people go in front of him, walked straight up to him with no help, and fake choked him. Yes, I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of that. Now that was one of the first incident stories I heard. But you have things. These are people. Yeah, people can say, "Oh, Boy George just wants to be in the headlines because he ain't been in the headlines since the '80s or anything like that." But like you said, there's Anthony Anderson has a story. Daryl Dawkins has a story.
Chocolate Thunder.
Well, actually, P. Diddy was just on Kimmel or something like last week. It was like Monday. I just saw this, and he's going in talking about it. And Jimmy Kimmel's like, just is vaguely saying, he alludes to the fact that Stevie Wonder's not blind. And then P. Diddy comes out and says, he's like, no, I'm telling you, dude, he was in my candy room, and Stevie goes straight for what he wants. He didn't have no help or nothing. He went straight up to what candy, picked him out. You don't see him with his hand out in front of him or with his blind walking stick like most blind people. He goes, and P. Diddy said, I've even had him tell me exactly what I was wearing. Exactly what I was wearing. I'm telling you. He tells you, and P. Diddy proceeded to say, he tells you exactly what he sees. So why would he have no reason to lie? Why would he have any reason to lie? But
He's like, go straight for
on top of
it.
all these other we on to you,
Straight for it.
We is on to you, Stevie. All right, enough is enough. America,
What about
we is on to you? All right,
all right,
come out with it. Truthfully, come out with it. All right.
There's so much evidence, and people have strong feelings. But I gotta be real. Like, I feel like of all the things that I've seen or heard, his appearance on Oprah with Paul McCartney is what.
Oh
struck me the most.
yes, the microphone. Yep. I saw that with my own eyes. See, all these other things are stories. All these other things are stories. When I saw it, I said, boom,
There's video of this one.
Whoop, there it is. Go ahead and tell them the story.
Tag
Tell them about
team
Paul
back
McCartney,
again.
All right, so you guys excuse me. I'm eating some kielbasa. But so Stevie Wonder's performing on Oprah's show. Paul McCartney's there. Some other people. At some point, somebody knocks over a microphone. One way or another, somebody knocks over a microphone. As the microphone drops, guess who catches the microphone?
No.
Guess who stops it from hitting the ground?
I must admit. How did I miss it? Oh, maybe I saw it.
Stevie Wonder.
Like he's
I
in
don't
the
know.
Matrix. Like
Yeah,
he's
no,
in the
no,
Matrix.
that was what I heard. I heard a story about him catching the microphone. I didn't know if that was the same time, but what I saw on the video clip, what I saw of that incident was also, I think maybe, or when someone, or he was moving. Paul McCartney was going to move the microphone. Stevie Wonder sticks his neck out as Paul McCartney's walking past to sing in the microphone as he walks past, without feeling or anything. He sees him walk by and he sticks his neck out, follows the microphone, and gets his last few notes in of the song. So
Yes.
I mean, there's just too much of that.
So
And
you don't.
can we get to him buying front row seats at basketball games? I mean, come on.
Let's hear it.
It's just, and then
Why can't Stevie enjoy the sights, the sounds, and just the whole environment? Why can't he just enjoy the environment?
yeah, I mean, I can, but if that in itself, yeah, I understand that. But with all this other evidence on top of the front row, next thing you know, we're gonna start seeing pictures of Stevie Wonder's driver's license. I sit and watch him.
You haven't heard that when Oprah bought Stevie Wonder a car?
Oh my goodness! See,
Why would she buy him a car?
Exactly. I sit and watch TMZ.
What's the thing called? What's the
nightly
thing called?
with my fingers crossed that they have footage of him driving.
Yeah.
Well, have you heard Bomani Jones talk about it? Like, one of my favorite things Bomani says.
Put your phone there.
Well, my favorite thing about Bomani the whole way.
Stevie Wonder gonna have one of them.
My favorite things about Bomani the whole way is Bomani talks about the way that Stevie Wonder dresses.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie Wonder has dressed the same way decade after decade.
But here's the thing. So what do you think? Do you think Stevie Wonder's blind?
I really don't know.
Do you want me to give you the trump card?
Give it to me.
Listen here, Mike. I hear everything you say. I laugh. I think it's funny. I believe Bomani Jones. I don't believe, but I want to believe. But the trump card of why this dude cannot see. You know what I'm gonna say?
Why?
Have you seen his hair?
No, Jeremy. That's.
Have you seen Brandon? Ain't nobody rocking bald with braids in the back.
Bomani talks about that.
What's Bomani say?
Bomani says, look at the way he dresses. He's dressed the same way for decades. He's had the same hair for decades. If he had a stylist, what would the stylist do, Jeremy?
Brandon,
The stylist would keep you up on the trends. The stylist would make the adjustments as things change. You know who wouldn't change? A person who looks in the mirror and likes what he sees.
Yes, exactly.
Bomani is right.
Exactly.
Stevie Wonder has questions to answer. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you love Stevie.
I just
And he
can't.
pays a lot of money for them.
No, the reason why I
He
can't
pays a
believe
lot
it,
of
the
money.
reason why I can't believe it is ain't nobody looking in the mirror and seeing bald head.
Have you seen
with
people?
bald head.
Have you seen the way people dress?
Granted, I have never seen somebody wear that haircut
I'm
ever.
dead serious.
Look,
If
this
there
world is
any
a big.
argument. If there's any argument, I mean, that would be the only thing I would take into consideration. But
All
there's
right.
just too much. There's too much.
I want
There's too much
somebody
of
to tell me this universe, this world is a big place. How many people? 8 billion people on this planet. I see one person on this entire planet with that haircut.
Exactly.
My point is nobody can.
No, it's not on trend.
No,
It's not on trend.
No, being a performer, being an entertainer, you are up to trend. You are. Yeah, no way.
I mean, the man's been to the White House so much. He knows what works for him, and he's not about to change it.
All right, Mikey. I know. And by the way, the fans will get to know one of Mikey's favorite things to dissect is whether somebody's breath stinks or not.
Oh yeah. You can tell.
Mike. My question to you, M to the, is do you think Stevie Wonder's breath smells or not?
Now see, that's one I don't feel super strongly about. I mean,
His breath definitely stinks. His breath definitely
I can see it. Yeah, I can definitely see it stinking. But I mean, it's not like looking at Greg Popovich or Draymond Green where you know their breath is melting the paint off the wall somewhere. Definitely. But
question
yeah,
about those
Greg Popovich for sure.
I venture to, and he looks like he probably has his armpits stink too. It does look like that.
What? Popovich or
No,
or
Stevie
Draymond?
Wonder looks like his armpits probably stink. His armpits probably stink more than his breath does.
He's an expert. I don't know how, but he's an expert on this
No,
stuff.
yes,
He's pretty
it's
good.
yeah, you can break it down.
No, we're not singing. Go.
Camera.
It's always catching me.
Raspy Voice Kids in the building.
RVK.
Today we are going to talk to you about the difference or the comparison of Bill Stewart's speech pre-Fiesta Bowl and Owen Schmidt's speech post-Fiesta Bowl. The question is, which one was better? Which one meant more to you? Which one had more of an impact? Which one do you prefer? So, what do you think?
I think, here's the thing. Usually when we do What Would You Rather, you take two things from like different times and you put them together because they can only be matched with two things that are like perfectly matched up. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. I think this is incredible that we can find two of the best speeches in Mountaineer history, and they're both attached to the exact same game.
And one was planned and one was impromptu. So that's what's interesting too, because they're not the same concept, but it's the same. They're in the same realm.
No, I agree, and that what you just said is the exact reason why I feel like I love. There's parts of Bill Stewart's speech that I absolutely love, and to be honest, I think Bill Stewart was a great man, and I love how he treated the kids and how the people responded to him. But before this, I wouldn't have told you that I believed he could give a speech like this, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes sense. I wouldn't have thought that.
So when he gave this speech and he was going on and talking about never leave your brother, your never leave your wingman.
Yeah.
Like when he was going on, I just remember at the end of it, like I've never been so like motivated and pumped up and, leave no doubt. Like when he hits that, it's insane. With that being said, Owen Smith's speech, as much as I love Bill Stewart's speech, Owen Smith's speech is just, I definitely picked that.
Yeah, so for me, I look at it and I think you can't go wrong with either speech.
Can't.
And when I listen to Bill Stewart's speech, truth be told, I don't think it was that great a speech. There are moments that are unstoppable, that are incomparable. When he says leave no doubt, you shouldn't have played the old gold and blue. You can't compare that to anything else.
You said it wasn't that great of a speech.
Overall, no.
I've heard other speeches from other schools.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
When he's talking about straining and never leave your brother, never leave your wingman, it's not here's the thing. You don't even have to say necessarily the words he says. It's the emotion and the feeling and the passion behind his eyes, behind like his gestures. Mm-hmm. It's all of it encapsulated in one. But when he says, Leave no
Yeah,
doubt.
that's what I'm saying. When he gets to leave no doubt, that's when it becomes a great speech. And I think what happens is it's almost like so everybody remembers Willis Reed with the Knicks, and they think about his triumphant return after he got injured in the 70s.
Yeah.
Willis Reed scored like 5 points in that game.
No.
Nobody remembers that. They remember the moment. And for me, with Bill Stewart's speech, it wasn't that great. There were moments where it was redundant. There were several parts that were plagiarized.
Do you know what? I don't care if it's plagiarized.
But no. I'm not saying that. What I'm telling you is when he gets to leave no doubt, it is amazing. It is creme de la creme. It is
Do you
top
know what I like about it? Maybe, all right, you may talk about the words of plagiarize and whatnot. I love the timing.
I felt like the timing wasn't that great. I'm telling you, when I watch the video,
I like when
I watch the video,
when
I
he
feel
walks back and forth and the pausing.
No.
And
when I
his
watch
hand.
I'm telling you, when I watch
Straining.
it, no.
Straining. I feel it. I feel it when he says straining. I feel it.
When I watch Bill Stewart's speech, and as much as I love Bill Stewart for everything that he was as a West Virginian, as a Mountaineer, as our coach, when I watch that speech, it seems so prefabricated. It seems so not. I don't want to say disingenuous because not.
This
not at
is
all.
where I say that I feel like sometimes he's not a homer. He goes too far the other way.
I'm not going too far. I'm being honest.
I feel like there's
So I
other
watched the
speeches
speech-
that he would hear from other schools.
No.
And he'd be like, oh, those
No.
were amazing. He
No.
wouldn't break it down
I hate
and
on- I hate on-
crucify.
I hate on-
Not crucify.
yeah.
Not crucify. What's the word?
Critique it.
Critique it.
No,
Why
that's not-
can I think of
that's not
critique
true.
it?
I hate on people's speeches all the time because I listen to the speech and I listen to what's actually being said. Bill Stewart was redundant. Bill Stewart said things that other people had already said. Bill Stewart said things that were clearly pre-planned and did not have the emotion that I would expect because it was like he knew he was auditioning for a job, which in fact, that's exactly what he was doing.
Nah, that's not how I felt, and that's not how anybody else felt.
All right, because you, again, just like with Lion King, get involved in your emotions and you can't separate the two.
Lion King's about to win the vote.
Lion King might win.
No,
but
Lion King's about to what?
Yes,
Okay,
but
so
people
he
get-
likes to throw out stuff. So all the Twitter nation's gonna think, oh well, he's just so no. I'm about to win. Just like I won Pop Tarts, and like
All
I
right.
won Lion
Yeah.
King. It's about to be a sweep.
All
He
right.
talks like you may believe when he talks, but then we come up with these polls, and I brush my shoulder off.
all that happens in the polls is we see that people, as I've said over and over again, do not have the ability to separate their sentiment and their emotion from the truth. And what I'm telling you is Bill Stewart gave a good speech. It wasn't that great, but when he gets to leave no doubt, that is untouchable. That might be the greatest phrase, the greatest moment in Mountaineer speech history, is what I'm telling you. When Owen Schmidt speaks, there is nothing fabricated about it. It is pure, unadulterated emotion. It is 100% what he feels in his heart. It was not planned, it was not prepared, it was not rehearsed, and it certainly was not plagiarized. When he starts speaking about how no one in the country, no one gave us a chance, except for that one state, it's all real. It's all exactly what is coming from his pores, from his heart, and what we saw on the field. When Owen bashed his head against his helmet, all real. Bill Stewart, again, wonderful Mountaineer, wonderful West Virginian. That speech is not as good as we give it credit for. What happens is our emotions get involved because of everything that was involved with the Fiesta Bowl, with Rich Rodriguez leaving, with Bill Stewart winning that game, with Bill Stewart getting that job, with us feeling like we weren't left all the way in the dungeon like we thought initially after that night that we will not mention. And once again, you have shown you don't have the ability to separate your emotions because, as I stated, Bill Stewart over and over again says things.
And
If we go back and look at the speech, I've watched that speech so many times because at first I felt the same way, and then more I was like, oh, like it's not so great. Owen Schmidt, I've watched it a million times, and I
No.
never once leave it thinking, wasn't that great.
And like I said, we'll agree to disagree.
So
'cause
you
I
think Bill Stewart
thoroughly
is better? Is what you're saying?
No.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
No. You're not just saying that Owen Smith's better. You just went way off and talking
How?
about Bill Stewart. So you said it's not that great.
It's not that great.
No, that's different than saying Owen Smith's better.
When Rich
Owen
Rodriguez
Smith's
is-
better.
Rich Rodriguez
No. Let's just stick to this. You said, anyways, you know what you said.
I know what I said. What
Okay.
I'm telling you is Rich Rodriguez gave the same kind of speech where he said, you should have put a little more air in the helmet. You should have tied your laces a little tighter.
I never felt that way.
Okay, great. Go watch the speech again. You will feel that way when
I
you
watch it.
YouTube.
I watch it.
Nah, you didn't.
I did
You
like it.
didn't.
I did like
You
it.
didn't.
It
You know
was the
why-
same.
You know why you didn't feel the same way? Because Rich Rodriguez was more passionate. The reason you feel that way is because it wasn't the Fiesta Bowl, and it wasn't after the
No,
night we
that
won't speak
wasn't
up.
it.
It wasn't after our coach left us. That's why you don't feel
When
that
he
way.
says leave, and you've admitted
yes,
that
leave
you love
no
that.
doubt is great.
But that's part of the speech. So when you say that
What
and you
I'm
add
telling
when you say that and you add that to the speech, it makes it all
No,
great.
it's like
maybe the whole thing wasn't great. It's like a movie. It's
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
It's just
It's
like a
like a
movie,
movie. Thank you.
that you feel like, and I'm talking about you that you don't think is that great. If it has an amazing ending, it makes it a good movie.
No, but you're saying it's a great movie, and I said it wasn't that great. Exactly what you just said. You can have moments in a movie that are good without the movie being great. Why can't you have a moment? There are people who win Oscars. Wait. There are actors who win Oscars for movies that aren't that great. They were great. Their performance was great, but the movie wasn't that great. What I'm telling you, when Bill Stewart says, "Leave no doubt," that is an all-time moment.
And that raises up everything and balances everything else. It's a great speech. Hey.
It's not a great speech.
Look,
it's a great moment. It's not a great speech.
It's a great speech.
It's a great moment. It's not a great speech.
It's a great speech.
And like I said, Owen Schmidt, which you agree with,
I agree.
is a better speech.
Wait, we agree. Owen Schmidt is a better speech. And here's the thing. My favorite thing about Owen Schmidt, which I didn't get to say because I was letting you have a platform, is everything you said. When you have this dude who's ultimate tough dude, a year later, smashes his head, is bleeding, and he gets on the mic. And he talks about the opportunity to play for WVU and what it's meant. And his eyes start welling up. And you know this is not for fake. This isn't rehearsed. This is spot on.
It's not plagiarized.
No. Like that captures when everybody.
He said it, if everybody's being honest, when you watch that, you cried just like he did, just like I did. I sat there in the living room in Athens, Ohio, watching with one of my closest friends, the same guy I watched the Sugar Bowl with, and we didn't look at each other because neither one of us wanted to have to admit what
the guy
happened.
you watched it with was also Mountaineer, born and raised in West Virginia.
Born and raised.
So
the truth is when Owen Schmidt says it, and also, just when Owen Schmidt says everything he says, we all feel the same way that he did, which is that the odds are always stacked against us. People never give us respect. People never give us the credit, the love that we deserve as West Virginians. As a football team, as a university. And when Owen Schmidt said that no one believed, he was right.
And it wasn't about bitterness. It wasn't about hating. It was about his love and his joy.
His passion.
For being
his pride.
Being able to be a part of it.
And that's why for me, Owen Schmidt's speech is better. And I'm not going to...
It is better.
When I say his speech is not...
It is better.
Yes,
we know it's better.
And we agree on that. And I don't want it to sound like I'm hating on Bill Stewart. I'm not. I'm just telling you, the speech, I feel like there are things sometimes that get more credit than it deserves. It's like people who say that Forrest Gump isn't that great or other movies and things like that. Jordan Curry, by the way, our producer, he's one of the people who says Forrest Gump isn't that great. I attribute it to him being 13 years old, and so he really doesn't know what's going on. But I'm just telling you that sometimes we give credit to things because there are moments that make us feel good, and then we stop dissecting what's really there. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm not hating on Bill Stewart. I love Bill Stewart. I love what he means. I love what he did. And obviously it was a tragic loss that we had as a West Virginia nation when he lost his life. So it's not to disrespect him. It's just to say that I love what Owen Schmidt said. I love how organic it was. And for me, it was a better speech.
All right. So we're our next who would you rather?
Mountaineer would you rather?
Mountaineer would you rather? As they just said, what do you take? Do you take a last-second loss, or would you rather get to the game and just get blown out and get it done with?
So
let's break this down. All right, let's go 2 games.
Okay.
Blowout loss. I know this may be painful for some of us, but we need to think about this because we've already thought about it before. The blowout loss will go Oklahoma last year. Snow. It was over from the beginning.
So we're factoring in the weather when you say snow, but it is.
I'm just letting you know what game I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about blowout from the beginning.
So we lost and then you can compare that to the Tavon Austin 500 plus total yards of offense loss, which was not a blowout, which did lead us on.
Okay, I was gonna go with the Kellen Winslow Jr. catch.
Oh, that's a better example. Much better example.
I mean, you can go with whatever you want.
Here's what I'll say about that. So in a blowout loss.
No, let's establish it. It's either Oklahoma, you get blown out, or the
Oklahoma 2016, you get blown out,
or the Miami game with Kellen Winslow Jr. and who's quarterback name?
Ken Dorsey.
And
Phillip Buchanan, who Quincy Wilson trucked
and ran over
and scored.
And he made the catch on 4th down.
So here's my thing. In a game where it's close, it hurts more because you thought you had a chance. And you spent your whole night thinking you had a chance. And then it gets ripped away. But for the duration of the game, you're in it. For the duration of the game, you're excited. When Quincy Wilson runs Phillip Buchanan over, hurdles him and scores, we go just as crazy as Mike Tirico did when he gets in the end zone.
Yeah.
And that's a tremendous feeling. You don't get that feeling when you're getting blown out. Because Justin Crawford runs for 331 yards, and there was no moment where I was excited about it because it's 58-0.
No, I feel you.
So, but you also aren't devastated and wanting to throw sandwiches at the television.
So which one
in a blowout loss? If I had to pick, I'm gonna take the last second loss, because I feel like I'm gonna take the last second loss because I can be a part of it. It's something to remember. It can be etched into stone, in ESPN documentaries, etc. I'll take the last second loss. I'll take the pain.
I respect it. Just sucker for pain. Yeah. I'll respect it.
Yeah.
I disagree. And it took me a while to arrive at this because, like you said, there's pros and cons to both of them. I remember growing up and having to go to school, and there was nothing more frustrating than you stay up, and the game goes into overtime, and it's 12 o'clock, and you got to wake up and then your team loses. There's no rage. There is no rage. Like staying up so late to watch a game that just keeps going on and on, and then your team loses. Nah, forget that.
It was all a waste.
Excuse me. Forget that. I want to go to sleep. I want to get some rest. Let it be over by halftime.
Let's just get to where we're going. I get it.
Let's get it and go. There is nothing worse because then the next day you're tired and you're mad.
No, the best thing, my favorite thing is
there's nothing worse. My favorite, get it over quick.
My favorite is when your family member or your friend has it DVR'd, and you already know. You already know.
Oh no! Here's the question: do you say something? That's $100 million question. If your friend has a DVR, you know your team loses. He gets home late, but is gonna watch the whole DVR. Do you say something?
No chance. No chance.
I'm going to be honest. I know you don't want to tell people the outcome of the game.
You can't.
If it's a Mountaineer game and it's huge, I got to say something because I don't want you staying up for it.
No chance. Do not do it to me. I would not do it to you. I'm willing to take the pain because the excitement, the anticipation, you can't take it from someone. You just can't take it from somebody.
Yeah, you can take it from somebody. Matter of fact, I watched the Golden State game the other day, and they're not my team, though I did want them to win. And I watched it late, I DVR'd it, and by the time I got to the end, I thought somebody should just call me and let me know so I could have saved the last 2 hours.
I did think about it.
That's what I'm talking about.
You told me not to.
No, tell me.
You literally said, "Don't tell me anything. I have a DVR."
No,
you told me, "Do not."
I'm telling you, there's nothing like wasting time.
He said, "Don't."
Why? No, that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why. Let it be a blowout. A good game and loss at the end. There's nothing. No. It's not.
All right. Well, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And I think the thing with all, sometimes you look at things and you can say, I understand how you came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
And I understand how you come to that conclusion. I don't agree necessarily, but that makes sense to me.
All right.
Why do we hate Virginia Tech? This question needs to be asked because it's been 12 years since we've played them. That means there's an entire generation of Mountaineer fan who does not understand what Virginia Tech is, who does not understand what this rivalry means, who does not even appreciate the Black Diamond Trophy.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you the answers tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing, why do we hate Virginia Tech? We could take a bunch of different angles to get to the actual answer of why Mountaineer Nation does. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the angle you come from.
I just want to talk about in general, as fans, whatever you think.
Okay, no, all right. So what do you feel like? Why do you feel like Mountaineer fans have this disdain or this hatred for Virginia Tech?
I think, so the obvious, you've got West Virginia and Virginia.
Yeah.
So this started in 1863. If we want to be honest, the issues between the states are much bigger than just football, much bigger than the athletic department. This is not a new thing if you want to go that route.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we boil it down to something more direct. We were in the same conference for years in the Big East, so the rivalry is forged because you're playing every single year. And when you play teams every single year, you become familiar. Familiarity breeds discord and frustration, and we saw that in the rivalry that we had with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Personally, the rivalry got bigger once Virginia Tech started getting credit for things that they had not earned. What I mean by that is that ESPN and the national media started to treat Virginia Tech like they were a blue blood, or like they were Oregon, essentially, of the up and coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And here's why this is a problem. This is not hate. We are not haters.
No, we're not.
So this is why this is an issue. You might ask, why does it matter what the national media thinks? Why does it matter what ESPN thinks? Because when the national media anoints you, when ESPN anoints you, you start to get credit.
Absolutely.
And you're able to get recruits based on reputation that you did not earn. What do I mean? Who's got more wins, West Virginia or Virginia Tech?
We know this.
We have 737. They have 729. Who leads the all-time series in head-to-head competition? West Virginia, Virginia Tech. It's not the Hokies. The Mountaineers lead that series. Who's got more big-time bowl wins? By that I mean the BCS bowls. Who has the most wins?
Absolutely.
It's the West Virginia Mountaineers. We have 3. They have 1. And it's not just that we have 3. Bigger than just the fact that we have 3, we won 3 with 3 different coaches, which tells you that our program stretches beyond just a personality or just a philosophy, whereas theirs is stuck on Beamer ball. And even in Beamer ball, they got 1.
Yeah.
They won 1. They played for a national title once. They did not win. They did not win more than 1 BCS bowl game. We show we're bigger than just a coach. We're bigger than just an era. We are a better football program than Virginia Tech. But we do not get the same credit. We do not get the same recognition. We do not get the same respect. And I would attribute that to what people view our state.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. We have 15 conference championships. They only have 10.
Yeah.
I want to throw that out there. But, no, I feel you 100%. That's when my hatred of Virginia Tech went into overdrive. When I realized that it felt like to me that people respected Virginia Tech more than they did West Virginia. When they gave them certain respect that they didn't give West Virginia. When we're a better football program. Actually, scratch football. We're a better athletic program, period.
And have been for years,
And
for decades.
I cannot stand. There's certain things that they don't have, that we don't have, whatever. Point is, when it comes between our two programs, we are a better program, and for whatever reason, they give them the respect and elevate them to a place that we should be too, that we are too.
No, and they treat us like we're hillbillies and like we're rednecks. Morgantown is not in the middle of nowhere the same way that Blacksburg is.
Yeah.
Blacksburg is a podunk town, and that's fine. I'm not hating on that, but just the idea that you treat us like we're different when we're not different. The Lane Stadium, for years, we had a much larger stadium than Lane Stadium. Then there was a period where they added like 11,000 seats within the last 10 years. So then it became something where they had more than us. But we're right back to being essentially at the same capacity. There's nothing about Virginia Tech that separates them. Even their logo. Our logo is recognized nationwide. It's recognized as being one of the best logos. People who talk about business, people who talk about sports, over and over again, they talk about the Flying WV.
Yeah.
When did ours come out? 1980.
1980. Okay.
When did that VT that looks very, very close to what we have come out? 1984. And I want to thank Ryan McClung, a.k.a. Grandfather,
right?
one of the best Mountaineer fans you'll ever meet. He's the one who taught me about that. He and his father, John Scott McClung, have hated that forever, that Virginia Tech essentially ripped off what we had. But nobody recognizes that. And Virginia Tech acts like they're better than us. Then they went to the ACC, leaving the Big East and leaving us behind. And that's, I think, when it really hit its crescendo, when it really got to its peak. When they left us like they were superior, and they're not. They are not. They try to attribute the wins and successes they've had in the ACC as something heroic or impressive, but really they've been playing in a conference and the division, the weakest division of a conference that wasn't that great until recently. And even then, I would say they were never great. They've got 2 or 3 schools that are great, and that's it.
Yeah.
So if you look at their first-round draft picks, West Virginia, look at our first-round draft picks compared to theirs. There's no comparison, especially recently. There's no comparison. It's absurd that people act like Virginia Tech's better than us. I love so much that we get to go into the battle for the Black Diamond Trophy again this year because we can show people what it really is. When Mountaineer gets to get into business, Bud Foster's going to wish he could play in that terrible conference once again. And he'll get to it, but not that first game.
I think it's so hilarious. I look at Twitter, and Virginia Tech Twitter fans are praying so hard Will Greer doesn't play. That's all they keep saying. They keep saying, "Oh, you better hope he can't play." Now he is going to play. And I hope you got your eyes open.
And I tell them constantly, you better hope he doesn't. And let me tell you something. If Chris Chugunov has to be our starter, guess who's going to win? West Virginia.
No,
I believe in
it
our
doesn't
defense.
matter.
I believe in our running backs. I believe in Jake Spavital and Dana Holgerson. I believe in Tony Gibson. I believe we'll win no matter what. If Mountain Greer's there, please say something.
Say something. You know what? I want to take.
You might could tell we feel very strongly about this. We hate Virginia Tech.
Let me just say that with Virginia Tech, I'm gonna go with my own personal feelings and thoughts, and I really wanted to isolate. Like for Pitt, I know when things change. For Virginia Tech, I was trying to isolate when things changed, because in '99, I wanted West Virginia to beat Virginia Tech, but when Michael Vick went to the national championship against Florida State, I was rooting for Michael Vick.
I'm rooting for the Big East.
So I didn't hate Virginia Tech at that point. So I really was trying to identify. And then I remember like the very next year, I thought we were going to win. Then Andre Davis goes off. And I remember being salty and being irritated with that. But I can't promise you that's when it started. All I do know is that when we hit 2003 and Kevin Jones comes out on our field, they're at Mountaineer Field. I don't know if it's Pushkar Stadium or not. It's a night game. They're in the top 10. We're supposed to get obliterated. Me and my brother M to the on the wall.
They were ranked number 3, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Number 3. I knew they're in the top 10. And he comes out and just his hands to the crowd and come on, you know. And I remember sitting there before pregame, just I could feel it like the heat rising. I believe that's when it started. 2003. Kevin Jones, I'd have been 17. That's when the real hatred, and then we won, and what is great. But I will also say, I do know for a fact, when I was 100% a Virginia Tech Hokie hater.
When was that?
It was Rasheed Marshall's senior
2004?
2004 Rasheed Marshall's senior year. Very next year. And, my dad my whole life, and he's a great man. He's done many wonderful things for us. I always tell my brothers and friends that there's one thing I'll never tell my kids, because my dad used to tell me all the time, and I will never do this to my children. Well, if I ever have any children. I'll never do this to them. You know what I'll never say?
No.
Wait till next year.
No, never, ever, ever.
He used to, but next year. And I'm saying a bunch of people do that. I hate that. Wait till next year. You know why? Because what happens when next year doesn't happen? That's what happened in 2004. Rasheed Marshall was a senior. Everybody said, wait till next year. He's a senior. And I'm not hating on that Mountaineer team. I'm just saying I was very disappointed when we went to Virginia Tech and we were ranked and they weren't. We were top 10 and they were not. And I really had my heart crushed when senior Rasheed Marshall and the boys didn't get it done.
It wasn't just that, though. I felt like the refs were against us. Because remember Jamal Aday's hit on the tight end? Bob Davey tried to explain why that was a penalty when everybody could see it wasn't. Now, today, it would be a penalty. But at the time, it did not violate the rules. It was not helmet to helmet. Jamal Aday had a clean shot where he rocked that dude. He did not catch the ball. They got a first down out of that.
Yeah, I remember that. All I know is that at the end, I couldn't. That's the most mad I'd been over a Mountaineer game, I think, up to that point.
And then Marcus Vick didn't help either.
No, but back in 2004, that's the most mad I've been to that point. I remember watching it. I was at my friend Heath J. Ruggles' house. I had other people there. I had other people there with me. And I'm watching this, and I was so excited. And now I'm embarrassed that our squad loses. And you know that feeling, like, when it's just... You can feel your anger starting to rise over you know.
I'm pretty calm. I normally.
No, but you never felt, and you try to catch control of yourself because it's just a sports game. You try to tell yourself that, and you can feel like you're just irritation, and aggravation. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay, this situation was not that. I was beyond that. Look, it was like Limp Bizkit break stuff. That's what was going on. There was no, and I remember I was just, it hit me out of nowhere, and I couldn't do it. I just remember having, and somehow I was eating a sandwich, and I threw that sandwich so hard. I'm in somebody else's house. My parents ain't raised me like that.
No, they sure didn't.
They had a brand new TV. People sitting around, and I just out of nowhere I just chucked it, and I looked up, and to their brand new TV, my sandwich is stuck perfectly.
It didn't move.
To the middle of the screen, And that's when I realized my Virginia Tech hatred had arrived.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that's when
Fully.
I thought you were gonna say that's when you realized you had a problem. You needed to go.
No,
to
no. Wait,
some
no.
kind of therapy. I thought that's what he was gonna say.
No. Wrong.
And honestly, like, so if we're being truthful, one of the problems we have in any discrepancy with Virginia is really our fault. And what I mean is, like, how many of you have been frustrated when somebody says, "Oh, you live in Western Virginia," or "You live in Western Virginia"?
You going there? Yes.
It's a frustrating thing, and then you start to complain about their lessons in geography. You wonder about their education system. It's a frustrating thing because how do you not know that West Virginia is one of the 50 states?
How in the world do you not know?
We're not even the last admitted. We're not something that got lost in the shuffle. I don't understand how people don't know. But the truth is, there is no East Virginia.
Oh, you mean like there's a North and South Carolina?
There's a North and South Carolina.
North and South Dakota.
There's a North and South Dakota.
I'm trying to think of some others.
Being a directional state is not an issue as long as there are two of you. Because what happened is when we become West Virginia, we automatically become less than. Not because we are, because there's no question West Virginia is
the best Virginia. Yeah.
No question. And we can go through all kinds of reasons why that's the case. But we cheated ourselves. And so often that's happened in our state's history, and we can go through those. Any of you real Golden Horseshoe alumni, you guys know what I'm talking about. What was West Virginia? What was one of the proposed names? The name that should have been chosen. Do you know? You can say it if you know it.
I don't know the name.
Vandalia. Vandalia was suggested. It's a beautiful name. It would have distinguished us as our own independent state, and people would not have forgotten that. What happened instead is we decided to call ourselves West Virginia when there is no East Virginia, and we made ourselves smaller than what we really are.
I don't want to change the argument. That's a great point. And Vandalia is a beautiful name.
It's beautiful.
And, that's a great name for the next state. Next state should be called Vandalia. But my state is always going to be West Virginia.
That's my state, too.
It's sentiment, and you're right. I would have no other name now, but you're right. Vandalia is a nice name.
I love West Virginia. It's best Virginia. I rock the flying WV. You can see we're in the Mountain Greer. You see, like, there's no question about who and what I am. What I'm telling you, though, is the frustration is because we have an inferiority complex hoisted upon us by people who are disrespectful, people who are unaware. But part of that is because we did not assert ourselves when we could have initially. And I owe this to my Golden Horseshoe training, 8th grade. That's when it started for me, when I became fully aware of what we are and who we are. And I think that sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle. We didn't do ourselves any favors. And I think part of what happens with the Virginia Tech issue is that people view them as something superior to us purely because of all the stereotypes that they already have. And that's part of why I hate Virginia Tech. And I can't wait till Sunday, September 3rd when we get to show them.
And they have such big mouths. I'm sorry. And Twitter, I didn't realize it.
And what is a Hokie?
No, it's lame.
It's not even a real turkey. It means nothing. It's made up. It's nothing.
It's dumb.
And don't think we forgot. You are Virginia Polytechnic.
I was just about to go that. Polytechnics.
You're not Virginia Tech.
Dip. Don't mess with the Polytechnics.
Yeah, don't act like you're something sophisticated.
Nah,
you ain't no football program. You're in engineering school. And you're not even great at that. Okay, let's be real about what this is. West Virginia till we die. Till I die.
I can't wait to see y'all in D.C.
We're going to be there, FedEx Field. If you're a Mountaineer, will you be there? We'll be there, rocking our Mountain Greer. Don't forget it. Don't miss it.
At first, I said this was all about Biggie. Then everybody else had their opinion. This is how we going to do it on our side.
This is how we going to do it on our side.
Forget Virginia Tech.
Forget Marcus and Michael Vick.
Forget Miami.
Forget all y'all. Brian Randall, forget you. Lee Suggs, forget you.
And if you down with the ACC, then forget you too.
All y'all.
Right.
All right. That's that.